What's the haps? I'm Meroka, and today I want to talk about leaving Spiral Nights. I want to bring you my thoughts and reasons on why I would want to do such a thing, and hopefully bring some food for thought to the table for those amongst you feeling the same way, as well as exploring the nature of what we'd call fanboyism. So first up, yes, I'm going to stop playing Spiral Nights. Entirely. I won't be doing any more patch notes or covering any future updates. 3 seasons is your lot for Spiral Spiel, although that's a format I enjoy, so I'll be looking for an alternative way to do a similar series. I'd tell you I won't even be playing it outside of videos, but I haven't done that for a long time anyway. So why am I quitting? It's likely no surprise to most of you that it's something I wanted to do for a while. It's not a game I enjoy playing anymore. There's no fresh content for me to see outside a couple of bits and pieces of challenging Vanguard content that would require me to have a team of friends on board to work with. And in that regard I can't even do that because everyone I knew and collaborated with in Spiral Nights has stopped playing long ago. A little over 2 months ago, I explored in depth the issues with the game currently, and offered a number of potential solutions, so I'll endeavour not to retread that same ground, but suffice to say that I feel the game has been badly underdeveloped and undersupported by 3 Rings since around the time the lead developer Nick Popovich left the team. Whether Nick was the only one with the creative drive to bring new content to the game, or whether there are other factors at play, is not for me to say or speculate upon, but it was undoubtedly the catalyst for the decline. Since that date, playable content has been extremely infrequent and usually underwhelming when it did come. Prior to that, we can see a number of significant additions and changes to the game, as well as that forum post by Nick shortly before his departure outlining his plans and desires to overhaul a lot of the game mechanics. Plans, it should be noted, which were only half implemented at the time of his departure, and have never been fully completed in the 2 years since. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. An MMO lives or dies by its content, and Spiral Nights has long since been left behind by every single competitor in the market. The video games industry changes and evolves quickly, and adaptation is necessary to keep up with the times, the market, and the competition. 4.5 years ago, Spiral Nights was the innovator. Today, it's a relic that has been destroyed in the market by every single newcomer. World of Warcraft doesn't bear much resemblance to the game it was 11 years ago, because it kept pace with the changes in what players wanted from a game. WildStar, a game barely a year old, it launched targeting an outdated market and using an unpopular business model, and today it's adapted to what players wanted, delivering a regular stream of content to keep players engaged, and it's going strong. I don't feel especially inclined to keep forcing myself to care about a game that often doesn't feel like the developers themselves care about, and so I'm not going to. I know a part of my audience feels the same way. One of the most common questions I've had in the past year is, how do I keep playing? People looking for a way to reinvigorate their passion for the game, hoping I have the answer for them, the magic bullet that suddenly makes Spiral Nights great again, and I'm sorry to say there isn't one. But I find myself fascinated by why people are so desperate to find one. I believe it's in that issue I mentioned at the start of fanboyism. Fanboy is a term that's pretty frequently used in a derogatory way, but I don't think it has to be. All it means is that you're extremely enthusiastic about a brand, perhaps, but not necessarily, to the point of clouding one's judgment in regard to it. And it's probably worth noting that there's no real gender implication here. Fangirls exist too, but fanboy is the common nomenclature, so I'm sticking with that. With big brands, especially with consoles, there's a significant cost investment up front, and for a great many people, limited disposable income means they can only choose one. So if you pick one, you're committed at that stage. It's here fanboys are born, because to go back on that commitment is to say you may have made a poor judgment call with a significant amount of money, and people broadly don't like to be wrong. There's an element of cognitive dissonance there. I spent a lot of money on this, so it has to be the best one. It couldn't possibly be the inferior choice. And so you see gamers cheering for console exclusives, which is a business decision that only really puts money in the pockets of shareholders of multinational corporations, and doesn't benefit any of the customers at all. Why would you cheer? You don't gain anything. It's because it's evidence that you were right all along. You made the right choice because the latest grey-brown shooter is on your console, and not the bad one. You don't get any extra benefits in the game from it. You're almost certainly not seeing any dividends when the quarterly profit reports are published, so there's no real reason to cheer. It's fanboyism clouding your judgment. Where this gets odd is free to play. You might have dropped some money on Spiral Nights, or whatever, I use it because it's relevant here, but outside of the whales the market thrives on, many players won't spend a lot, if anything at all, so you have no investment. In economics, a sunk cost is the idea of investing money in something you can't get back, and it's widely viewed as something of a fallacy to factor that investment into your decisions. In the console example, the console is your sunk cost. Once you bought it, outside a few special cases, you won't get that money for your console back. But I think a sunk cost can be time, too. MMOs are something we invest a lot of time into. It's a different investment, but it is one all the same. I myself have invested 1100 hours into Spiral Knights. I can't get those back. Many others have invested many more, but even investing a few dozen hours can make you feel committed to something. So I return to the people who come to me asking for a reason to play Spiral Knights. However many hours you may have invested, you need to view it as a sunk cost. It's not an investment that you need to throw more hours at to get a return on, because there's no return to be had. You only go deeper down the rabbit hole. You should write off your sunk costs instead of dwelling on them. Chalk it up to experience. You had a few dozen, 100, even 1,000 hours playing Spiral Knights for a while in your life. They were presumably fun. This is a good thing, but you can't get them back. And you're not betraying the Three Rings by moving on to a new game. You don't owe them anything, and frankly, they don't owe you anything either. I'm not going to list any specific competitors so as not to date this video especially, but I plan to keep on playing these kind of games for a while yet, and if you want any advice on MMOs, free to play or otherwise, I'll be happy to give a recommendation. So go on, fanboys, you don't have to be bound to one product anymore. You're free.